What's going on, guys? Welcome to Cruising with Kevin. I'm just going to show you a bit of my daily life here. So, like usual, always have some sort of problems here. Alright, so I showed you in the last video I kept having misfires on, I think it was, I don't know what order, but it was 2, 4, and 6. So I changed the plug wires and it seemed to have resolved the problem for a while there. And then last trip I ended up having trouble. The one wouldn't stop misfiring, I think it was 4. So I changed the spark plug and I bought the rest of them for the whole truck. So then today it's my wife's birthday. We're heading on a little mini trip here or whatever, and it starts misfiring again. So I pull over at Love's here to basically see like what's going on. I figured, well, I'll just change it was 6 was misfiring again, so I figured, well, I'll just change that spark plug. So I'll show you that here and take a look at these plugs. So there's a name for this, I can't remember, but it's basically like when it arcs out instead of going through the plug. And the surprising thing is the plugs don't look crazy bad, but if you look at, like, say one of the better ones here, so I changed this whole side. So if you look really close, you can see that one on the far right has a tip still, and these other ones don't. And so obviously that's why. And it's funny because these don't have that many miles, but you can see these two, they were both starting to do that same thing there. Again, I don't really know why that would happen like that, but for whatever reason, it was basically arcing out onto the spark plug there. So, like, that couldn't be enough problems. And guess what this is? And what this is, so I'm leaning on here. I decided I'm just going to change the remaining 3, and the radiator hose back there, I must have just leaned on it a little bit for the actual, for the heater core, and it ended up breaking out. It ended up breaking out right here at the end of this hose, so it was like this basically, and it was just brittle. You can see it's just brittle. I mean, this truck's got a bazillion miles on it, so yeah, that ended up breaking. Nobody around here. That's actually why I stopped into town to change it, in case I had more problems. But Okima doesn't have this in stock, so I'm gonna have to find one on the way, just so I have it with me just in case. But I happen to have antifreeze with me, so it didn't, but I leaned on it, and it was a good thing it wasn't scorching hot still, because it got all over my like all over my coveralls here, and it blew all over the engine bay. If that had been like a hotter day or something, that could have been pretty dangerous actually. But anyways, so that's what that's about. So this hose is weird. It goes from the tank there all the way down. It's hard to see, but it goes down to the water pump, and then it goes back up here. So that kind of makes me wonder if that other one's probably kind of brittle too. But at least that one's just a straight hose. You could use a regular piece of hose if you had to. So I just got a hose clamp. I slipped it back on there. It barely reached. I cut it right at the end, and there's no edge or anything on it, so I don't really like that because I'm scared it's gonna blow off, but don't really have a choice here until we find another one. So I guess I'm gonna try to see if I can find another one on our route here. Okay, we've just established there's some freaky pictures here I never noticed these before, but my weird family noticed them.
Your weird family.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
we know this because these are weird pictures.
That was kind of weird. I'd never noticed that before.
Chick. Look at this one.
I know.
Her eyeballs come out.
Ooh.
His tongue comes out.
Ooh. Oh,
freaky,
dude,
right?
what is... oh, wow. That is freaky.
So
Yeah.
freaky. How did he do
I did
that?
not notice that before. That is ew.
That is so weird.
Freaky. California semi-driver here. This is cool. Yeah, let's see. All right, that was some random little right off of the main road here coffee shop in Chillicothe, Texas here. Chillicothe or something like that. So that was neat. The guy collects coins. If you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, it's definitely worth checking that out. He's got a ton of them that he just goes through and finds imperfections and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, getting back on the road again. All right, guys, we've been having a pile of problems with this truck's ignition lately. So I changed all of the spark plugs on the passenger side bank. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 on this truck. And I changed 3 of the 4 wires. Now I'm getting a misfire on cylinder 6 there. So we're stopped at O'Reilly's Auto Parts here. I'm gonna grab a coil and we're gonna try changing that. If I didn't have a coil with me or if I couldn't find one immediately, what the first thing I would be doing is swapping coils around to see if the misfire moves to another cylinder. Then I would know for sure that it's that particular coil that's the problem. If it's not that, I'm kind of out of ideas here, honestly, because I mean, I changed, like I said, the plug, the wire, everything, and it was, I suspect, so long story short, it's along the way here, this truck had the coils changed not that long ago actually, and they got changed from the kind of the flatter style to the round style, and I've heard that that can potentially be an issue here, so I might end up having to change them all back, and that sucks because they're like freaking pretty expensive actually. So I'm gonna try to change this thing and then we'll see if that resolves the problem here. All right, so it looks like this thing is a 10 millimeter that holds the 2 screws that hold it on there. There's just a wire that plugs into it. You just loosen off just release the clip on it there and just push it. Just push it out, and that's pretty much it. So this thing's pretty hot right now. Take your spark plug wire off, obviously. The one thing I wish when I had the tripod here is if I had a taller tripod, that would be ideal, but I don't, so use what I got here. It's a portable one that like folds down to being about like 12 inches tall, so it's kind of nice just to travel with, but not as good for, especially like all these new vehicles are so tall. So that's the style that's on it right now. So if you guys are familiar with the other style, I didn't realize this, so I went into the parts store when I bought all the spark plugs for it, and I bought one spare ignition coil, but I bought the other style. And the reason I did that is because I thought, well, that one was originally on it. So, I mean, I could buy 7 more and just change them all at this point, but I almost did just because I hate screwing around. And usually and so the one thing that they say is you can't mix and match. So that's the reason I haven't put that one on, is because I can't put that one on with the round coils, and these ones don't work together. And so the reason that I question this is I saw a post on one of the LS boards there saying that these things will just spontaneously burn out pistons with a massive amount of like power sent or whatever. And these spark plugs aren't very old in here, and they're pretty much toast ready. So I'm kind of concerned about that now. So I don't know. And I've never had ignition problems before. So like I said, I might actually end up changing them. We'll see. I'm gonna look around on like Amazon or something, see if they're a little bit cheaper there, but it's I don't know. Like I said, it's just one of those things, I guess. So always just little things here or whatever, but I carry the code reader with me now. You can see the inside of the bottom here. I'm assuming that's a ground here, but if you look really close, you can kind of see it's pretty rusty there. So maybe that's just all it is, and that's causing the problem here. Hopefully when I change this resolves this problem. So you guys can see all you really need is a 10mm wrench. You pull the cover back, that cover snaps into those 2 little clips there. And then there's just 2 little pins here that hold it down. You can kind of see there, or 1 maybe. 2, yeah. There's another one right there. And then the coil is there. Like I said, just 10mm screws to hold it in there, and there's just that plug, so it just comes off super easy. But like I said, if I thought that it was possibly this, I could just switch the coils around and verify that the misfire moves to a different cylinder. But since we're by an auto parts store, I'm probably just gonna grab another one. All right, so I think it's the same coil here. You can see 125739190, 125739190. So same coil. This is a Blue Streak brand. How much did it cost for that one?
They're $60.
Yeah, so there's $60 for retail or whatever anyway. So going to put this back on and then see if I'll clear the codes, and then we'll see. I'll have to drive it a little bit because it doesn't seem to do it at idle. So see how that goes. All right. Wasn't really paying attention. I guess it went this way. Don't drop the screws. At least they had one.
They had 8.
Yeah. I don't think that was a Blue Streak brand though. I don't know. See, this is, I don't know. It's not a GM one either, I don't think though. So hopefully, maybe he just put cheap ones in last time.
Doesn't make sense. Our son wouldn't let him buy cheap ones.
I don't know. But remember, he wasn't there for a bit of it. So that's a long story. But anyways, we'll see if this one fixes the problem anyways. So it's says pretty easy to change. It's 2 little screws there, and hopefully it was just a bad ground with the screw there, because that thing was pretty. I'm tempted to pull the spark plug again, but I'm going to just try it first. So I'll have to drive it a little bit to know for sure, but and that's it. Okay, so one of the problems this truck's been having is like so there's been a couple of things. It does like a crank, and then it cranks for quite a while, almost like it doesn't have fuel pressure, and then it starts. But the other problem has been, like, I think it's to do with security. Maybe the key, I changed the key fob or whatever, but maybe the key's getting worn out with this many miles. I don't know. I should probably try the other key. But so I'm going to cycle the key a couple times before I start it this time, and we'll see if it just actually starts like maybe the fuel pump's losing prime again. That's what happened with the other fuel pump when we changed it, and it didn't really seem to improve that problem. So, see if she'll start and see how it kind of lagged there a little bit still. I haven't been shutting it off every time we stop now because once in a while it's just click, 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 and then it starts. So you have to kind of like play with it a few times there. So I'm gonna just grab the code scanner here. Okay, so you guys can see here, cylinder 6 misfire. That was a stored code. The catalytic converter code there. Cylinder 6 misfire again, so the catalytic converter codes are always there. So there's quite a few misfires. We're running really bad this morning. So I'll reset all that, and then I'm gonna leave it plugged in. So if it does start doing it, we can see it run the code scanner right away. But we're gonna hit the road. Probably took just long enough that we're gonna get stuck in Dallas traffic, I'm sure. All right, we're cruising here. Seems to have cured the problem, at least for now anyway, so I don't know. It's, I mean, it gets to the point, even with one misfire like that, it gets almost undrivable. It starts like missing and backfiring and sputtering, and so I just wanted to see if that was the problem, and obviously it at least was for the current time, so hopefully that'll be the end of the problems for a while here.
Well, it appears we solved our misfire situation, but now this happened. So before I left, holy cow, man. Before I left, I rotated these 2 tires around because it's wearing on the outside. This is a 14 ply and this was just like a 10 ply. This tire was brand new about 1,500 miles ago. I'm not sure if we're gonna make it home on that deal.
Check the other side out.
This was the bent axle at the front here, and it seems like it's sort of, so you can see it scruffing that tire. So it's obviously not totally straight yet. So these 2 were on the front. They're just a better material on the tire, I guess, so they seem to be lasting longer. This side isn't quite as bent as the other side in, I guess, or whatever, so it definitely was way straighter than it was before, but yeah, obviously still issues here. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is measure this axle. I might end up having to change this front axle here, because either that or I'm going to have to buy another trailer, because I can't be wearing out a tire every 1,500 miles. It's not going to work, so I'm going to measure this and see what it looks like here.
All right, we made it to Dallas. That didn't solve this misfire issue. Kind of frustrated with it here. It's got a new plug, wire, and coil, and it's still misfiring on 6. So I am going to just pull this plug wire off and see if I can see anything obvious here, but I don't know. Not really much else I can do without getting home and taking a better look at things. Morning, guys. We're back in Amarillo, Texas. I got a backhoe with me and I went to start it last night, and it started and it ran for probably a minute or so, and then it stalled out, and seemed like it gelled up the fuel pump, or for sure the fuel pump and maybe the filter. So I took it down to a car wash. It was a truck wash because it's the only one open. I wanted to just pull inside and hopefully let it thaw out a little bit, but they wouldn't let me. So they pressure washed it, and you could kind of feel the pump going a little bit there after they pressure washed it, but it wasn't enough. So I started running down the battery. I just didn't want to make it stone dead, so we got an Airbnb here. I brought it back. I have a little battery charger with me that it was my grandpa's. This thing's been around forever. I've had it for like it's probably, I think he bought it in like the early 90s probably. So something rattled apart on it, I guess. Maybe just being in my camper for so long. So that didn't work. Something kind of shorted out there. So anyways, we went to Walmart right at the last second there, just as they were closing. I grabbed a huge tarp. I carry the little heater with me because of my camper. I'm usually staying in the camper typically. I got my family with me right now though, so, and I'll show you kind of what we did here. It's funny because a friend of mine from Canada just had the same problem with her tractor, and she was asking me what to do, and this is what I told her. And she did it, and she got hers running, but it was a warmer day. It's supposed to warm up a little bit more today, but so there's a tractor underneath there. I just put a little box heater underneath it. I don't like the ceramic heaters. If you get the ones that have the fan with the actual like wire coils, they blow heat further. So I threw it to the front of the tractor. You have to be careful because, you know, like last night I fueled it up and it was windy, so it blew a little diesel around. So I wiped it down last night already, but you just got to be careful. You don't want to be like putting it against something where it'll get super hot. The floor on the trailer has gaps in it, so it's already going to let some cold air in, but it doesn't take much to get it warmed up. Just has to be, you know, has to be to the point where it'll just be enough that the fuel starts to thaw out. So I put anti-gel in it, but the anti-gel won't do anything until it actually gets into the fuel system. So hopefully this is enough that it warms up there. It's supposed to get just below freezing today during the day, so I'll probably let this thing run for at least a couple, 2-3 hours or whatever. By lunchtime it's supposed to be getting quite a bit warmer, so I guess we'll see if that's enough to get it going. It sucks. I do have a little battery charger. I think I showed you guys this before. My brother-in-law gave this little booster here, so I'm gonna throw that on before I try to start it, but I don't like not having a battery charger with me because I always have a generator, and if I ever have trouble, then I like to be able to just boost myself or charge the battery in case it never really did happen. I forgot to turn something off or whatever weird thing would happen, so gonna have to replace that. But in the meantime, we'll see if this is gonna get it going or not. All right, so it's been on the heater for about 3 hours already, so I don't know if it's enough or not. Like I said, there's gaps inside the deck boards there, so hopefully you can throw enough heat here to get it started. It's not really going to warm up till about 3 this afternoon, so it's warmed up quite a bit from what it was, but it's still fairly cold out. I feel it's starting to get a little bit breezy here, which isn't going to help anything, but I'm just going to lift up the tarp and see what it feels like. All right, couldn't get it started. I tried there. It definitely tried a little bit, but it's still not getting fuel, it seems like. So walking over to Walmart and checking if they got any battery boosters here, or chargers, I guess, because it seems like I ran the battery down. That booster is just, it only spins it once or twice, and then it doesn't continuously use the battery. So we're gonna try to see if we can find a battery charger and throw that on there. All right, it got up to about 24, I guess, but yeah, about 24. That's what it is right now. So it's probably 22, 24 at the Airbnb there. I took about a 50 amp battery charger. Ooh, that looks rough there. Let's see if we can see when I go by here. Oof, little rolled it on its side there. That's weird. Highways weren't even bad. So I bought like a 50 amp battery charger from Walmart there. It was like 65 bucks. By the time we got back, it's still like that heater running, and it fully closed in like that. It's not like it was like fully melting off the snow and ice really quick, you know, and the day was getting fairly warm already. I think if it would have sat there all day in that kind of temperature, it probably would have, but so I ended up putting that charger on boost just to see if it would start. I thought, well, it probably wouldn't, but I was gonna run the charger while the heater was just a setting down, because I had used the same cord. So anyways, I tried to boost it there. I put it on engine start. I don't like these new digital boosters, because they'll usually only spin it over for a second, and then it like goes into like overload or whatever it does. It like does the bypass thing. But it did spin it over, and I got a few spins on it, and it fired up, but it was like running super rough when it first got started there. Must have been kind of working out the ice. I put a whole bunch of like anti-gel in it there last night and a little bit more this morning. So I don't like to do that. That's like the absolute last thing I like to do. I filled it up with diesel at Quick Trip last night. So Quick Trip guarantees their diesel. So I think I put $10 in it, which would have been like about 3 gallons, little over 3 gallons. So I mean, it was pretty low on fuel then. So the bulk of it would be better fuel now. And then I added the additive. So it's on the trailer right now running. Just gonna make sure that it actually really gets into the fuel system, because those things use such a little amount of fuel that it's like really, it's, I mean, to fill up even the fuel lines and stuff, I mean, those things sip fuel, right? So I think it's gonna be okay there. So yeah, I'm usually really good about making sure that if I buy anything from the south, like, and this goes for vehicles or whatever, if you buy something from the south, make sure it's got, you know, antifreeze in it, because people tend to put water in them if they lose like a radiator hose or whatever it is. Making sure that, you know, if it is a diesel, you got anti-gel in it or whatever, something like that, or some sort of stabilizer at least, and things like that. So yeah, I think that's probably it for this debacle. That's just another one of the things. The truck's not misfiring right at the moment here. It did for quite a bit of the trip yesterday. We drove all the way from eastern Oklahoma to Amarillo. It seems happier if you're like up in the revs a little bit, so I don't really know what to make of that. There's a million things it could be. I could go around with some starting fluid and try to spray it around the intake and things like that, and check and see if it's like intake gaskets or anything like that. I mean, it could be a vacuum leak somewhere or something like that, so I don't know, but it's kind of annoying. That's really annoying. So anyways, I think that's probably it for this part. So we'll see if this thing stays running or whatever, and if it does, it should be good to go for it. All right, guys, after a long cold day, trying to get that tractor going and all that kind of stuff, made it back home here. Still got it. My truck ran okay today. It didn't really throw the misfire code, but I don't know if that's related to like a temperature thing, because it was really quite a bit colder here today than it has been. So I don't know, it's almost seeming like it's a bad ground to that coil or something along the lines of that. So not too sure, but I guess that's probably going to do it for this video. Had a lot of chaos this week, but nothing we couldn't work through here. Yeah, just this month is just so cold here. I actually have a little gas fireplace I could put in my garage, but I've actually been on the road the last 3 weeks pretty much steady. We were home like one day, I think, so I had the wife and kids with me and everything, so we're doing lots of running around. Got some project cars I want to go look at some point here. But yeah, so it's been a pretty good start to the year, so happy. Got the subscribers coming in. Kind of everything's going okay at home and everything like that, so just happy it's going to be a good 2025 here. Hopefully I can get some more serious projects rolled out that I want to do here once the weather warms up a little bit. Some of the ones that I have are body work and things like that, and I'm just not going to do that when it's like, you know, even if I had heat in the garage, it's not the right time to do it when you start messing around, and my door doesn't seal very good, and it's really not the best place to be doing it anyways. So don't want to be doing it when it's like, you know, below freezing and things like that. So but that's going to do it for this week's video. Thanks for watching again, guys. Hopefully I can get some of this chaos wrapped up here. Have no more future problems, at least with my regular daily driver vehicles. That would be ideal. So appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share me around on social media. Cruising with Kevin on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.